underground bunkers where the US government expect to proceed as a carry-on government have long been in the news. Mount Weather was a shock and an expose when first discovered, as it was so well outfitted and financed that the issue was more how such a facility could escape notice, not only physically but financially within the budget, rather than any other implication. Since its discovery and exposure, Mount Weather has not been the location of choice. This is obviously because it is well known, and in times of trouble the public would crowd the entry and lay there, dying and stinking, complicating life at this facility. Instead, other facilities not exposed and supposedly secret have been promoted. This includes, as is well known by their neighbours, a spot in Indiana, a prime location now. Near Kokomo, Indiana, in the hills surrounding the small town, burrowing goes on as the shift approaches. Other facilities are known in the mountains of New Mexico, adjoining to facilities above ground in Utah and Colorado. Less well known are facilities in Houston, which will be much underwater, but were placed there to satisfy the Bush family, who were not into listening to our warnings about earth changes and flooding. These in fact received the greater amount of funding and are stymied now as to what to do: move or stay and risk drowning. Facilities to house the elite are also fairly well known. In North Carolina and Wyoming, prized locations of the ultra-right. In other countries such as the Urals in Russia, there are known locations. Britain is planning to leave their island and head elsewhere, most likely Australia. This is little publicised, but the rules about immigration in Australia reflect this mindset. Canada has become a mass of public opinion the Brits do not welcome, and Australia has pocketed some of the ultra-right well in hand for many decades, which the Brits feel they can count upon. The Australian elite are planning, surprisingly, on being inland, the very places where flooding will occur. They reason that they will be safest where least expected to be found, in deserts where little life except the peaceful Aborigines exist. Thus they are setting up, like the NASA elite in Houston, in the worst place, flooded for sure. However, we expect them to change these plans at the last minute, and thus they will be obvious as to where they are headed. Just follow the truckloads of supplies. Africa, where expected to be above the waves, is considered a cesspool of infection. Ebola not the only issue of concern. Muslim countries are expected to remain, the ruling class sitting tight, as they have no confidence in their ability to move and still be on top of the pile.